All right. You guys listen to Luis Bevel's Real Talk. I'm here with Jasper Bod.
There we
Jasper,
go.
where are you from, my dude?
I'm from the Netherlands, my man. Thanks for having me, first of all.
Heck yeah. How old are you?
I'm 17 years old, 17 and a
17
half
years old.
to be
And
precise.
from all the time I've had of like getting like to know you, I've noticed you're always working. And but
I hear that a lot.
what
It's
you're
yeah,
so young though. You're 17. What are you doing? Tell me
yeah,
that.
keep up the grind. So first of all, as I said, yeah, thanks for having me. You you kind of perfectly described it. I'm always working. Well, I try to keep some days off, but I have my own e-commerce marketing agency where I basically help, as the name says, e-commerce businesses grow through paid traffic, so Facebook ads mainly, and that's been growing like really, really, really big since the beginning of, I think since August. It has really taken off, and I think
Would you
you,
say a
you,
lot more since like the coronavirus and all that shenanigans
yeah,
started?
yeah, exactly. These local businesses are not closing down. Here they are, but I don't know the situation over there. Um, but what I really noticed was that e-commerce like didn't take as big of a hit as these local businesses because e-commerce isn't affected in any way. So I saw that upwards trend of e-commerce businesses, just growing,
Yeah.
and thought, yeah, why not jump on that train? And yeah, business has been going great since then. I've got 3 clients right now in the e-commerce niche, excuse me. Yeah, everything's been going great.
For those who don't know what like e-commerce is, like give like like the quick 411 just in case.
The quick one is basically if you sell something online, it's e-commerce. So commerce is buying and selling, and e-commerce just adds an e, which makes it online. So
Got you. That is
online selling basically.
very cool. And what your business like name? What's your business name?
It's really silly. I have my initials. It's JMWG Media for the people that want to Google it. But I should
AFWG.
have chosen a more original name, but
Well, that's
I
it
went
for
with
now.
this one.
Stick with it, you know. Um, so to have like this, and you've been doing e-commerce. About how long have you been doing this? Would you say?
I think like for real. That's a good
Because I've been
question.
talking to you for what about like a year and
Like
a
one and a
half,
half
two
years,
years?
2 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's it. I think I started e-commerce when I was 14. I just got into do you know Ty Lopez,
yeah.
the guy with Here in My Garage.
Okay.
That one, and I saw his ad, and he talked like entrepreneurship is the next big thing. And I was 14. I thought the word was cool, so I
Yeah.
started looking some things up. And first of all, like drop shipping came to mind. And for people who don't know, drop shipping is basically when you choose a product from, let's say, AliExpress, so Chinese suppliers,
Yeah.
where let's say a soccer ball is $1 on AliExpress. You build a website around that product, and you basically go market that soccer ball for €10. And basically, when someone orders it off you, you basically enter their address when you buy it from AliExpress, so you aren't like the middleman.
All right.
Um, so basically, you keep that €9 profit, and that's basically drop shipping. So that's where I kind of started, if you will. I noticed that I've got scammed for I think a few €100 off of courses, the basic stuff, and then I started to look into like other businesses, and then when I was I think 15, I started to go into like the marketing world, so doing the marketing myself for other businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Right then and there, it was for restaurants. I did it.
Right.
So I got my first client when I was, I think, just turned 15. A local restaurant around my like in my town, Italian restaurant, and I signed them on for, I think it was €150 a month, which was like this big money for me about that age, like. And all I had to do was like post on their Instagram a few times a week. But then the immediate like downside of that was, what I noticed was the guy fired me within one month, and he basically said like, yeah, I can press a few buttons as well, so I don't need you anymore. He paid me out, and he said like, bye.
Mm.
So that was pretty hard for me. But then I really noticed like you've got to provide value. If you can't bring value to the table, you're done.
That's it.
That's the simple game. And I think with e-commerce, if you can really like e-commerce again, online selling, if you it's cool if you can do some Instagram posts for, let's say, a restaurant. Not everybody can do it,
Right.
but the majority of people can. And I think with e-commerce, if you're really good at what you do and you can really provide these results, like turning 10 grand into 100,000 grand, $100,000, not
Right.
100,000 grand.
Man, you're
If you can
amazing.
really like, if you can really like 10x their money, it's you're bringing more value to the table instead of like posting a few times on Instagram, of course.
100%.
So that's when I went into e-commerce, and yeah, been growing actually.
So
So
if that restaurant job would have never been like, hey, yo, this isn't gonna work out after the month, would you
mhm.
have, you think, stuck with just more so that simple route
Well,
and not grown to like who you are like now, not really spread your wings per
yeah,
se?
funny concept, because I think eventually it would have changed because Corona hit, of course.
Of course.
But I think it would have taken a lot more time to kind of progress into the e-commerce world, because right now I did it at 15, so
Yeah.
almost 16 I started with e-commerce. And if I would have done it right now, I I would have learned and learned and learned till I was like 18 almost. So I think when I started young, it is more like, I wouldn't call it more uh, like better, but I think it's more beneficial for my
Yeah,
like
you had an
learning
advantage
experience, for
for
sure.
sure, and that experience so early. And so I guess my question in that would be like, instead of like giving up, because
Mhm.
I know for a fact people want to hate on like younger people all the time, you know what I mean? And their lack of like work ethic, or like they don't try, or they're lazy and stuff. I
Mhm.
do not, in all the time I've ever spoken to you, ever get that vibe. So
Nah,
like,
man.
what would you like, what drives you, what motivates you, what makes you want to, when you fall on your face, instead of saying I'm done, I'm going to try something else, like retreat, what makes you say like, let's evolve this into something different?
Good question. Good question. So really simple. My answer to that is, I don't know if it is because I developed this at such a young age, but I think it is because you know I don't see any other option. I don't see a, no disrespectful to people who are doing a 9 to 5. If you're completely happy with that, go along. I'm nothing about that. But I truly and utterly don't see any other option than entrepreneurship in the route I'm taking right now. It may change a little bit, but I don't see me working a 9 to 5, or me, doing freelancing or something like that. You know, and I think when I fall flat on my face, which happens quite often,
Come on.
I really think, yeah, the thought of giving up doesn't even come to my mind. And for people listening, don't think that because it doesn't happen in my mind, it's natural, because it isn't. So it's quite natural that feeling comes up to you in your mind, of giving up. But I think it is because I've developed that path. It's one way, all or nothing. And I think that's my drive. And the lifestyle, the freedom I have, that's also one big drive behind me. But yeah, that's basically it. Really simple.
Do you have a support system?
In terms of someone keeping me accountable, or
Well, yes. Yes.
well, I have I talked to you yesterday about this. I have three coaches right now. So I have well, coaches, mentors, people I learn from. I have a excuse me, I just slapped my PC. I have a social media marketing agency coach. So that's the big name for just helping businesses with social media and advertising.
Yeah.
His name is Joshua Daniel, if you guys want to follow him.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
I have another coach in that industry, which is more targeted to e-commerce. His name is Kai Bex. And I have a performance coach, which keeps me accountable on the terms of like performance, as it states. So sleep, energy, optimizing my nutrition, my food. And this all sounds like really serious at this age, but I find it quite quite normal. I laugh at this because I know it's not normal for my age, but those people are really keeping me accountable. And I think the number one person to keep me accountable is myself. um and that's, as I said, because I have that drive in me, because it's all or nothing. There's one way and you can't turn back.
Yes. And would you say were these people like sought out? Did you look for like support, or was that support there once you started? How would you?
Well, of course, you have these like guru ads, if you will. They run ads like, buy my 1K course and you'll get rich quick.
Yeah.
But like these guys, Joshua, Eric, and Eric Elias, his name, the performance coach, and Kai, these are truly really genuine guys. And I think the thing with it is, when you're searching for some type of mentor, I think what you have to look for is, first of all, do you like them as like a person? Because if you don't, it's going to be a
Yeah.
hard thing. Second of all, do you already find value in the free stuff they provide? They all have, like, all my three mentors have things in common. They all provide free value, first of all. And I find value in their free content. So I know when I'm going to enroll in their course, their mentorship, their program,
Yeah.
there's going to be more value into that. So first of all, do you like the person? Second of all, do you already find value in their free stuff? And in terms of how did I find them? Well, basically through ads and through my network I build up. So I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. When you're connecting with other entrepreneurs, I think you're going deeper and deeper into that rabbit hole, and eventually you'll find them. And yeah, just connect with them, build this connection, build this link with them. And I think that's really the key to finding a mentor like that. That's how I find them eventually.
Absolutely. I think it's so important to simply have a mentor, somebody who can show you the way, because that's the fastest way to really get to where you want to go.
Sure, for
Be
sure,
led by someone who's like pretty much already there. You know what
for
I
sure.
mean? Um,
Most definitely. And I think, sorry to interrupt you, I think Elon Musk mentioned it once. He said basically, you don't need education, and you don't need the school system, because everything that is out there that can, like, put you into higher levels is out there for free in the internet. These courses are, they like organize it basically. I don't know if it's correct with everything, but most of the stuff you can, if you do a like Google search, you can most of the times find it. But with the course, it's designed like, it's really easy to go through. And you also have that guidance. As I said, you're not only buying the course, you're also buying the accountability. You can always reach them. I can always reach those guys,
yeah.
and they always have my back. I know that, because they're great guys. And yeah, I think these courses are, if you have the money to invest in them, I think it's worth it. But just start online is what I think.
How important would you say? Because this is where most people would get scared on any sort of like, because it's risk. There's risk involved. How
Yeah,
important
for sure.
is it to recognize the worth in investing yourself?
Well, I think that's a big question. I think what is really important is that, as I said, you already find value in that free stuff. Because if you're not finding value in that free stuff, not much is going to be added, like in terms of value in that course. Maybe one or two things are going to be added, but not that much. um so that, and I think what you really have to look in for is not only a course, but also like a mentor that can really guide you to that. And as you said, like the investment is really high, because sometimes it can go up to 2K, 3K, 4K, 5K. Most of these programs are 1K. But I think if you like start early, and you start like making money, like chipping away every day, getting your information from YouTube is what I started with. The free value these guys provided, I think you can build your way up there. And when you don't have anything to spend, it really looks like this um high risk situation. But right now, I'm comfortably saying I'm making more than 1K in euros per month. So A lot of that is expenses, goes to coaches, but I'm okay with that because I'm not the guy who goes out like 4 or 5 times a week. Obviously now with Corona, it is impossible, but I'm not the guy to go out and spend like $50 a day on beer or on drinks or something like that.
Yeah.
I'd rather just put it into self-help. Self-help sounds so stupid, but like courses and self-development. That's what I meant. And I think once you're start to make that money, these risks are going to seem more acceptable for you for the amount of money you're earning eventually.
Yeah. Because it's
Uh,
worth it. You're worth it.
I know I'm worth it, and I know the value these guys can provide is worth it because these guys, if they don't have like legitimate results of let's say 100 people joined their program and only 3 people have made money from it,
Yeah.
it's stupid. But if let's say 100 people joined it and 70%, there's also going to be people who don't take action. There are people like that. But I think like the success rate is really important, and yeah, I think that's what you have to look for.
100%. Now, how does your family describe you?
I would ask him actually. I think they would. I have 2 sides. I have my dad and my mom, which are drastically different. My dad is really like I love him to death. Really amazing guy. But he's more on the like he's more hard on me, and my mom is more like soft on me, if you get that. So it's
Yeah.
like two sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And I think they would both describe me as someone who's loving. I love everything. People who I truly love, I would do everything for them. So first of all that, second of all, hardworking, because chipping away at it every day. Sometimes I'm slacking, but I always get back on that grind. But I'm always getting back on that grind. So loving, hardworking. I think successful. It sounds so cliche to say this myself, but
Not at all. You got to say it out loud more often, bro, because
successful.
that's what's coming.
Yeah,
And
bro.
that's what it is.
That's another thing I would like to address. If you're always saying to yourself, "Oh, I'm not going to be successful. I'm not going to be rich. Rich is a stupid term, but wealthy. I'm not going to be happy." Obviously, you're not going to reach that. So I think you really got to believe in yourself. And I think one of my performance coaches said this. The Eric Elia, who I mentioned earlier, he has this quote. I think it is, "You believe what you become." And everything in the universe is forever becoming. Nothing is like static. So you can always grow, and what you believe is reality is what I think is truly and utterly really important, that you believe in that. But to kind of go back on the track, I think that's how my family would describe me, and just as a cool, genuine guy.
Heck yeah, dude. Do you have other siblings? Like, are they in any way like you?
Yes. Well, quite. Yeah, it's really hard to describe because they are, like, as I said, I'm 17 and they are 10 and 5, and so it's really hard to describe that they don't have their like character isn't really developed yet. But I sometimes hear from my little bro. um he always says, "Oh, you work so much, but on the other side, he once said like, who my role model is?" And no, you are my role model. And that really hit me because yes, you did. That really hit me. And he said like, you inspire me, and that's really cool to hear from your little brother. And we're drastically different because we always have those arguments, but I think they in some way have this willpower and you know yeah, as I said, willpower and endurance to go through and through and not give up. So in that sense, I think they look like me, but I'm not
Mhm.
sure. We'll we'll see.
Over where you live, like the social, like going out
Social
and about
distancing.
before pre-Rona, like
Mhm.
you're mostly working no matter what, even before like Rona and stuff. Um,
Yeah, man.
and that's like amazing because you already see like this vision that you're building towards. Um, What would you describe to be a hard day?
As in,
As in,
oh, like I get it, I get it. Well, a hard day for me is I have all these systems in place. I love systems. For my agency, for pretty much everything. I have a morning routine, which sounds like only girls do that when they do their makeup. But, I do them as well. Morning routine consists of a cold shower, like truly ice cold, to wake me up. I make my bed. I do a workout, so mostly endurance because I'm not that like
I'm not
uh, muscular guy, but mostly endurance. I go for a run to kind of wake me up, drink some water, and I think what I also do is I started with this 3 weeks ago. I started with meditating. So basically, meditating, you pretty much focus on only your breath or only your the sounds around you, or focus on one thing. And I think that really, a lot of people talk about training their body. I think it's also like important to train your mind on that.
Mhm.
Um, so I do that, and I have my right. I don't know if it's right here. No, I can't find it right now because I have a Transcendence of Self, which basically are I think 5 or 6 pages, also through Eric. It's basically it describes my vision really clearly, my things I want to reach in life, and I read that every single day, every morning when I wake up, and every evening when I go to bed.
Yeah,
I read that through and through, and it's just to connect with my vision, to connect to that like roadmap I have ahead of me,
yeah.
and that just sets me up and gives me immense motivation. So you know we're going completely off track again,
Oh, not
but
at all.
that's like and then I have my evening routine, which is basically a hot shower to cool me down, which sounds pretty weird, but I think your blood vessels open more, which cools you down. um I do my meditation, drink some chamomile tea, read a book, read my Transcendence of Self, the vision I had, and basically go to bed. So that's basically in terms of systems I have. And to go back to what does a bad day look like, basically me slacking. I know when I'm slacking, and I I always recognize it, but I know most of the time I can do something about it, and I will do. But sometimes I'm just slacking. I think everybody has that, unless you're like this robot dude that works 24/7 and doesn't like slack. I think that's not human. Um,
With slacking even like the proper word to use? Like honestly, just sounds like
well,
you're taking
it's
a break.
taking a day off. Like I have my Saturday evenings are off, and Sunday evenings are completely off from business.
Mhm.
Also because then it's Formula One. I like to watch that. So Sunday's mostly my off day. But if I'm slacking, if I can call it slacking on a Tuesday, I immediately recognize that, go back to my vision, read that, get immense motivation, and really be straight up with myself, and say to myself, like, if you're slacking like this, you're not going to reach your goals. You're going to be, I wouldn't say not successful, but I think it's really important that you keep yourself accountable. As I said, to go back to that drive, when I go back to that, I think that also really like keeps me accountable. And yeah, that what a bad day would look like is me just not working, me noticing I'm not working, but not doing anything about it. That's like a
That's
bad day, and not sticking to my
exactly that's it.
systems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got you. Wow. Would you say that's what's the word I'm looking for? Not like unhealthy, because none of what I love literally this whole thing you got going on, but it's such a system, like you said, but like when you disrupt that system, it's always good to remember, like you pull out like the symbol, like remember who
Yeah.
you are with
Um,
this and stuff.
yeah.
And but how do you come to, are you upset at yourself? How are you on yourself when it comes
Well,
to
I
like this slacking,
yeah,
which honestly sounds more like you're just taking like a natural break. But since you already
that,
have break time between like your Saturday and your Sunday evening, is completely free. So if you
yeah.
take some of that extra time during the week, like even this podcast right now, would this be you actually no, you put me in the schedule. That
Yeah, it's business for me technically.
I would
So You
Okay.
know, it's not business, of course. It's like, because I can call you my friend because, you know, we've been talking for 1-2 years.
Yeah.
So, but I think in terms of the business scheduler, that's the only easy way for me to kind of get reminded. Oh yeah, Lou has this podcast I need to go on to. Otherwise, I'll just honestly forget it. But not it's not important, but I'll just forget it. So
No, honored to be on your schedule.
thanks, man. Honored to be on your podcast.
Yeah.
Likewise, my man. But yeah, in terms of your question, you know, um, I wouldn't. I think, you know, the word you used for it was you're not when you're slacking. You know it. You feel help me. I
Like
know the word.
when you recognize, like, are you hard? Like, are you hard on yourself? Are you nice?
Well,
How do you handle you? Like in a way that's like, is there grace there, or are you beating
yeah.
yourself up?
Sometimes I just take it easy, you know, and that's also with my performance. You know, I have this ring. You guys can see it, but I'll just stick it on the mic. That's you kind of have an idea.
Real.
But I have this Aura ring, which basically tracks my sleep, my performance, basically. And if my Aura ring, you know, I'll be pretty honest with you. You know, today I had to wake up 6 a.m., which is pretty early. I went to bed at 11, and you can see how much like true sleep you get, because I always think like I'm getting good enough sleep, but I'm not. So today I got 5 hours of sleep, you know, and the app basically said like, take it easy. And I will take that advice. I'm not going to be harsh and push through, because, you know, you still need to recover from that.
Hmm.
So it depends on the situation. When I'm harsh on myself, I don't think I'm. Sometimes I'm too hard on myself, and sometimes, you know, I'm slacking. So I really find that perfect like formula, and that perfect mix, if you will.
Without the tools you have to bring you back
Hmm.
naturally, how are you to yourself?
That's a good question. um, I think naturally, because, you know, without the things I would have, I still had that drive. I
Mhm.
think that drive would always pull me back. Um, but the ring is fun and all, but I think the drive is the main one. So I think I'd be the same, basically. Like it differ a bit, but I don't think I would change radically.
Yes. Do your friends support you in what you do?
Well, I think it's supporting is a big word, but I think, well, I have, you know, I have you as my friend. I have, you know, I see my mentors as friends, basically.
Absolutely.
I have I can count them on one hand, the friends that live here in the Netherlands. Basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm lying.
There we go.
But like 6 true real friends, and I don't speak to them a lot. You know, one goes to school with me, and basically when I'm working on my business, he always tells me like, "Ah, cool, cool." And it's kind of supporting, you know, when you hear someone saying like, asking you, what you're working on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on some client campaigns. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And it's not like really supporting, like, oh, you got to push through, and, you know, that motivation stuff. But it's cool that people, you know, yeah, it's supporting in a kind of way.
It like feel
Um,
cool. Like they may not like
yeah,
get it. They're
true,
not on
true,
your level, but
for
they're
sure.
like,
You
oh,
know,
cool. He's doing like that. Like, whoa, I wonder what that's gonna happen. I can see like the wonder behind like being just your friend of like, what's next? What Jasper gonna do? This fool is like
yeah,
always
man.
doing something.
What's the next step? Never reveal it.
Magician over here.
But no, yeah, my friends are supportive. You know, I have some friends. Most of my friends are in business as well. You know, I have these online friends. Which sounds really weird, but
Not at all. It's
in my terms,
2021 pretty much. It's coming up.
bro, we're also like online friends.
Facts.
But
100%.
I think, yeah, they support me. Yeah, for sure.
That's good, dude. And honestly, I think having and knowing you have just like a certain like amount of friends like that are literally there, that are like could be the closest like distractions from you doing
Yeah.
what you want to do. Not that
Hmm.
they are, because friendship is so valuable, you know what I mean? Teaches you more of like
Yeah.
who you are just by seeing what someone else sees you as. But
Hmm. That's a great one. Yeah.
facts. And I think
Facts.
that like uh recognizing that you're 100% like okay with where you're at with what you got, and then the value you know that you bring will attract more without you necessarily even trying, but recognizing the main homies that you got that
For
are
sure, for
just
sure.
there. You know what I mean? They're there since like day one, sort of like friends and stuff. And
Yeah.
you don't need more than honestly like
Nah,
two
bro.
friends, like one friend. You just need somebody. Everybody needs somebody at least, you know, whether that's you and me online, you found somebody, or that's somebody like your next door neighbor who was your homie since like
Yeah.
childhood or something. And then like
Hmm.
you see him walking by, but that wave hello is just the most important like thing
Yeah.
that builds that value and that friendship that you know somebody
That
sees you.
social interaction. Uh-huh.
Yes. And knowing how much works for you is important because everybody's different, you know what I mean? There's some people who could be in like your case scenario who would just be like, I hate my life because I feel like nobody like loves me. So I'm gonna
Understands me.
dive into my work and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna prove them wrong and I'm gonna
Mhm.
show them how cool I really am with
You know,
the right
for the
friends.
people who are listening who feel like this, I would quickly want to talk to you. You
Yeah,
know, if you really truly feel like no one understands me, there will always remember that there will always be someone who understands you. If it is a family member, a friend, someone online, just even if you don't know that person, even if you don't even know that person exists, there will always be someone. And I think you truly gotta it's not like your goal to find that person, but I think it's really necessary to go find someone who supports what you do, who like gets you and understands you. And I think that's really important. And I'm truly grateful for those people in my life. um yeah, I think you've got to push through. And for the people who are saying like I'm gonna prove them wrong, of course that's cool if you can prove them wrong. But there's a quote, I don't know who said it. It's like, don't impress people who aren't worth impressing. So don't buy things, if you had that like high school bully who always made fun of you, you know cool if you buy that Lamborghini, that Ferrari, but if you show up next to him, it's like, oh, hello, yo, what's up? Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, okay, bye. And then he'll just forget that. Oh, okay, it's cool that he drives a Ferrari now, but nothing like changes. You
right.
know, that kind of persons, like those kinds of persons, aren't worth impressing. So really stick to yourself. Someone understands you. Believe me, right here. It sounds really cliche, but it is truly like it's facts. It's real talk.
There we go. That's what it's
um,
all about.
so, so I think, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to tell the people. There's someone out there who understands you for sure, 100%.
So of your top like three like influencers you'd say that would like kind of motivate you when you're looking for something outside of like yourself, aside from your mentors, like
Mhm.
you ever listen to Gary Vaynerchuk?
No, yeah, I did in the past, but like I'm not that motivational. Work 24/7.
But that's not even
Hustle,
what he's
hustle,
about.
hustle.
Like,
He's cool. He's the most cool guy ever. No,
yeah,
not cool, most cool, but you get the gist. He's pretty cool. He's pretty badass. But I don't know. I don't watch him anymore.
I low key thought you did for like a
No
lot
worries, no worries. A lot of
because
entrepreneurs listen to him, but I don't think
I like how
he
straightforward he can really get. You know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
He's a
And
great business guy and motivational speaker and etc.
I wouldn't even call him a motivational speaker. I'm not even
No,
gonna.
not even that. Motivational speaker isn't the right word. This.
He would start cursing you out right now if he heard you call him a like
No,
space.
but yeah, I don't listen to Gary Vee anymore. Sorry if you're listening to this, bro.
Who do you listen to?
Who do I listen to? My mom and my dad. No, joking.
I love it. No, yeah.
Now, of course, I listen to them, but to a certain extent, I'm pretty stubborn. I think if they say something like, "Oh, you got to do it this way," and I'm not agreeing, fuck
Yeah.
no, I'm going I'm turning 180 degrees. I'm going the other way.
Mhm.
But who I really listen to apart from my mentors are, this is really hard question, so general, it's really hard. I don't know if you know the guy called Iman Gaji. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. He's like this. He also does so e-commerce marketing. I
Yes.
follow that guy. Like in terms of he's pretty cool, but I follow him to follow his journey. And if some people out there know him, you know what he's like.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool, and he just runs his business and goes along with that. So that's one person. Then another one is I really gotta think hard.
This
Um,
shows me just how much you're like, you are very independent in the sense of like your drive. Like it's mine and I'm going, which is amazing because a lot of people they need to find someone like to tell me I'm doing okay. Like I need affirmation, but
mhm.
you seem like you
Yeah,
provide.
of course, I need some people to tell me, okay, you're doing this correctly, because, but those are my mentors
Yeah.
basically, and my parents. So my parents would be number two, and number three would be, let's name someone like, I don't know if you know, Tyler Newman is his name. He does property investing. So he lives in London. He has this cool Lamborghini or Lamborghini. I don't know how you pronounce it. Um, but he has this cool lifestyle, and I sometimes like watch his YouTube videos. It's pretty cool. So I would say that that's my top three.
Very. And on your what'd you call it? It's not a dream board, but you called it a
Transcendence of self. That's what I
transcendence
call
of
it.
self. What's
Vision board.
your vision board? What's your end game here?
My end game. Well, I wanted to show. Wait a second.
I want to see it.
No, I have it in my backpack. I have it every single day. This is it. It's like in this beat up like map.
Good, as it should be.
Basically, as it should be. That's it.
It's so fresh all the
Here's
time. That tells me you didn't look at it.
here's the one. The only thing that is true is what you believe is true. Reality is false. What we think is true reality. Your thoughts create your beliefs, and your beliefs become your reality. You must believe and take massive action. Get the feedback and then insert it once again with everything in life. Nothing is static and everything in the universe is forever becoming. And the real question is, who am I becoming? And this sounds really cliche, but it's just how it works, is it what I think. But I have this like vision board. You guys can't see it, but it's like a cool watch, which is a tattoo. This is Atlas, which is a Greek god. I think his whole story is cool. This is that guy I told about. He drives this cool Range Rover, just chipping every day. There's a car. That's the apartment building that isn't like built yet, but I know I'm going to live there. And just some motivational things. And above that is what my identity is, which is a billionaire, a leader, a titan, an icon, a heavy hitter, a genie, and a matchmaker. It's what I basically stand for, what I want to become. And I have this whole list with goals. But in terms of like an end game, I can't imagine an end game, because if I would reach that end game, let's say when I'm 30, if I would reach that end game, what's the thing about life anymore? If you reach that end game, what's next? Of course you can have your 10 million Bugatti, and then you think, okay, you can have a 15 million Bugatti because that's the highest step to it. But I truly and utterly don't think that you're going to become more happy from that $5 million more like Bugatti, if you will. So I don't really have an end game. It's the journey I like really much.
That's it. That's the
Um,
answer. That's it right there, dog. That
in
you
terms of end game, I really don't have an end game to kind of simply explain it.
mhm. The fact that it never ends. It until like you're necessarily like dead. Like you have to embrace the process, and that's for a
Yeah.
lot of people like their least favorite part is the process, the getting
Mhm.
there. We're so attached to the outcome that it's what you are becoming that counts, not what you will become. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And
Yeah, of course that last one also counts, but I think the first one counts 100 times more.
really, it really does. because if you have the mindset to pay attention to yourself as you go and recognize how you move, recognize what works for you, you eventually hit that goal per se. But then if you're left with just that, you become lost because
Yeah, man.
then, you kind of feel like you made it, but then it's like this empty room instead of what you thought it would always be.
Yeah,
And
man.
the mindset of understanding and embracing the process, the journey, the becoming is so valuable and so important, especially for you being on that train since 14 and like evolving into like just what you are is it's not impossible obviously, but it's insane for me to hear um from someone like so much like younger and hopeful at the same time, you know what I mean? Because I know for a fact you're not the only one who has this sort of like drive, you has this sort of like ambition, but you're a low-key person who's doing it because the people who are on that like grind, on that drive, on that becoming, on that embracing like who they are right here right now while they go to become who they want to be, they don't always share that. What's mostly shared is complaining. You go on social media, all you hear is what's wrong, what they want, what they're not getting, and what's up versus
Yeah, man.
what you're doing. And what you're doing is like something that's so important to recognize. Yeah, people who are young, 14 and up, and younger than that even, I'm not even gonna lie, like I know there's kids who are doing wild things, but they don't
Yeah.
talk about it because they're so busy working and becoming. And I'm happy to have, I'm gonna wrap this up here right now. I'm happy to have you on the podcast so that I know for a fact for a lot of people, seeing is believing, and you being as ambitious and young as you were and consistent. That's the main thing. I'm like, I need to get this.
Consistency is key for real, you know. I think it's written around right there.
Look at
You
that.
know, success formula, the right actions over a consistent period of time, you know. What's actually funny, I wrote this down. I think I was pretty tired because I wrote it with the wrong like marker, and right now we can't get it off anymore. We're fine.
It's perfect.
Well, no,
It's
otherwise
true.
I would have said like, oh, this is cringe. I would have removed it, but I think it's really cool. A lot of people ask me like, what's back there? And I always get a success formula. You know, that's what always true. You know, if you do the right actions over a consistent period of time, you know, you will succeed eventually. I think that's
You're building
basically,
patience.
yeah, exactly.
And a lot of
Building
us
the
don't have that nowadays. The
no.
patience with what we're trying to do and the patience with who we are, with that also lack of understanding of who we are because we are not patient enough to even look because
Yeah,
we're
man.
too busy looking like ahead. And you're so grounded. You got all your routines and everything. You got like your balance and what works for you as like a person. And like that's inspiring. Like high key, that's inspiring. You know what I
Thanks, bro.
mean? So I encourage you. Obviously, you don't need it, but I encourage you to keep going. And like
Ah, thanks,
your
bro.
future is gonna be wild, dude. Like, and I don't say that from like I'm trying to like
Sound cliche, but it sounds cliche, but it isn't.
it's so
You know.
real. It's so real on like my heart. Like I'm looking at you like and I'm like, this guy, dude, like I cannot even imagine the like within like just simply 2 years where he's gonna be. And it's gonna be just like that moment when you're like at that point or whatever that looks like. I know either way, I'm gonna be just like proud of you because I call you like my friend. You know what I
Thanks,
mean?
bro.
Like I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm so happy for him, man. He deserves it
Same, man.
because of that.
Likewise, likewise.
So thank you for being on and thank
No
you for
worries, no worries,
taking this time with me, dude. I appreciate it very much. And the
no
world's
worries.
gonna hear Jasper Bod's story, part one. I'm probably
Thanks,
gonna
bro.
come back
Thanks,
to
bro.
like
Part one. let's
heck yeah,
let's go for it.
for
So
real.
thanks for having me, people. Thanks for listening, and yeah, thanks, bro.
Absolutely.